Well, here we are again, another Sunday. So lovely to see all of you. My name's Menla, and Ed is helping me today, and we are going to be streaming live here in a moment with Lama Surya to give us his view of today. But I'd like to start with sharing some things. There's always things to share. Today, I'm going to start with our next pop-up summer workshop, which is on Saturday, July 20th on karma. So if you attended the Death, Dying, and Bardo one a couple weeks ago, you know that it was quite a topic, and this one I'm sure will be the same. I hope that you can join us for that. We also have the rescheduled June 8th day-long retreat on Saturday, September 12th, hoping that you can join us for that. Day-longs are a great way to boost your practice as well as connect with Sangha. And it's about a month before our fall retreat, which is on Sunday, October 27th. So one day is a great preparation for a longer retreat, Sunday to a Friday. We hope that you will be able to join us for one or all of those. So sit back, relax, take a deep breath, and we'll wait for Lama. Thanks for being here, everyone.
Happy Independence Day, everyone. Nice to see you. Interdependence is important. Interbeing, even better. Recently, I heard the brilliant Bob Thurman, Mr. Tibet in New York, translates the great perfection, the Dzogchen, as the great connection. I like that. It's a little partial, but it's important to see through the illusions of separateness, to let go of our self-story of loneliness and alienation and teenage. No one understands me-ness. Although these days one could have questions about what's going on around us, that's for sure, and what's real, and what we can do about it to help course correct and contribute to a better world and a better future. Oy, our poor children and grandchildren. On the positive side, every generation has had its challenges and somehow has found ways managing to cope with it. If you're not on the happy bus, change buses, as I read. It might not be that simple, but sometimes it is. Just move your attention and you'll be surprised. I'm not talking about like in the permanent sense. Like if you have a pain in your knee, I don't want to mention natural childbirth. If you have a pain in your knee, move your attention to your breathing or your shoulders, and you'll notice a big difference in the very moment. So let's have a moment of silence, and solidarity, and feeling with all those who are suffering at the ravages of war, etc. In Gaza, in the Middle East, in the Ukraine, in East Africa, in so many places, in our own country too, in our inner cities. Starvation, pandemics, poverty, injustice, and inequality, etc., including all in our hearts, prayers and practices and bodhisattva aspirations today. As always, treading the higher ground, raising our gaze from me to we, from we to thee, sacred third, I-thou relations, as Martin Buber called it, not I-it, not seeing everything as objects and wondering what you can get from it or how you can get away from it, what it's going to take from you. But I-thou, pure perception, seeing the light in the Buddha in everyone and everything, including all in our hearts, prayers, opening the wings of our heart, invoking the blessings of all those on high, or is it from within, connecting to the good earth, the axis mundi, the universe, not just me, but the central channel, centering, aligned, at ease, harmonious, free. May you all be happy, peaceful, content, safe, healed, and at ease in this benighted world today. Okay, hope the sound's okay. Whoever just messaged me. So nice to see you all. Bertie, Mel, Suzanne, Pat, Joanne, McNevin, Island Mon, Laurel, Debbie, Tara, all of you. The others, not so much. Don't take it personally. As everyone knows, I always say I try to treat everyone equally, but everyone knows I have my favorites. I confess it. I'm sorry. Just still half human after all. Daniel Jina Chasa Pemaya Sadambola Yatsin Chugging Ajani Pemajane Sudra Good Kandra Mambakor Yeki Jesudatra Ki Shinye La Chisha Suso Guru Pema Siddhi Om Ahum Mensa 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 Guru Pema Siddhi May Lord Buddha's blessing and inspiration ever awaken our good minds. May the Enlightened One's blessing and inspiration and encouragement ever open and nourish our good hearts. May wakefulness, dispel the momentary illusion we've ever been separate, inadequate, incomplete, or apart. Homage to the innate great perfection, the natural great completeness, the great connection. May all realize it and be benefited by it for the boundless benefit of one and all. Love to all equally. Big love, unconditional love, divine love, beyond the dichotomies and polarities and preferences of liking and disliking. Love is bigger than that. Peace, Om Shanti, peace, harmony, Shanti, Om. Just sitting together, co-meditating, just being together, interbeing, just being with a capital B plus. I think the first little tune I learned in guitar lessons when I was 10 or 11, it was called Buzzing on the B string. I didn't realize how profound that was, just being. Of course, we each know that the 6 guitar strings represent the 6 paramitas, the 6 transformative practices of the bodhisattvas. Playing that tune, buzzing on the B strings and on all strings and on all notes and on all vibrations. Harmonizing, vibrating together, resonating, like tuning forks, dancing, moving, resonating together on the same frequency. Neither too tight nor too loose, as Buddha said when he asked how to meditate, to concentrate, how to hold the mind steady. Like tuning a sitar, he said, not the string's not too tight nor too loose. The middle way, moderation, balance, appropriateness, just right. Not perfectionistic, but fitting, suitable, just right, appropriate to time, place, and circumstance. Yet flexible and resilient, unbreakable, like Samaya bonds. Hearing the music and every sound, seeing the light in every being and everything. In Tibetan, the practice of Daknang, pure perceptions, sacred outlook, as Trungpa Rinpoche translates it, sacramental vision, as the Catholic theologians call it, seeing this world like an altar and all the beings on it like gods and goddesses. Open, aware, friendly, lucid, luminous, calm and clear. Imho. Just breathing, just sitting, just being present and aware. Just being with a capital B plus. Aware with a capital A plus. Just seeing. May the power be with you. Stargazing, no war is needed. Love consciousness, not war consciousness needed. All together now, just breathing, just sitting, just being. How sweet it is. Eyes open, ears open, nose open, throat open, mouth open. Throat open, chest open, heart open, diaphragm open, anus open, everything open, heart, mind open. Deconstricted, decontracted. The ego is like a tight fist, like a knot. The more you pull on it, the tighter it gets. The more you fight with it. Knots are fine in their place. Let it be. Be free. Be happy. It's the same snake, whether it's coiled or lying straight on the ground. Recognize the unity and diversity. Don't get tied up about it or hung up. Awareness alone, naked awareness, awareness, aware of awareness, a non-dual, uncompartmentalized, wholeness and completeness, mind to mind, it pays off. Don't bother your mind and it won't bother you so much. My head's not the best neighborhood to live in, I found out. This breath, only breath, this moment is if only moment, Imaho, nowness, awareness, immediacy of presence, the authentic, unfabricated, organic Buddha within, Imaho, Eureka, Hallelujah, Amen, wondrous, amazing, miraculous, yes, yes, yes. Enjoy the joy of natural meditation. Assume your Buddha seat. Organic meditation. Natural flow, just letting go, letting come and go, letting be. That's the secret, letting go. Imaho. Flow with a capital W. No self, but a double U. Like your doppelganger. The Buddha in you. Imaho. I know you yoga teachers teach people to breathe through their bottom, the ground, that way. They say breathe through your eyes, a clear light, through all your senses, radiating and reabsorbing at the same time, simultaneously, not necessarily sequentially. Make the great connection beyond time with sequence, here or there. Beyond oneness or noneness even. Oneness can only take you so far. Great connection, find unity, diversity, like the mandala principle, like a hologram, the holes in each single part, all center, no outside, no periphery. All belonging, no longing for things to be other than they are. That's dukkha, dissatisfactoriness, longing, craving, desiring things to be other than they are, even in this moment. As it is, that's the Dzogchen slogan, as it is, leave it as it is, and rest the weary heart mind, just at ease, as is, enjoy the natural state. of the natural weight confection, how sweet it is, or whatever state you think you're in. That's it. Whole. Can't believe your own thoughts, whatever you read these days. Oh, what a relief. What a release. Oh. Oh. Focus slightly on the out breath. If you need a little structure or anchor to present awareness, focus slightly on the out breath, a little more than on the in breath. Of course, you're allowed to do both. That's very important. A little letting go, a little relinquishment, a little death with each out breath. Openness, friendliness, receptivity, and sharp, clear, lucid awareness, inseparable, incandescent presence, actual meditation, Dzogchen meditation, structured, seeing through, being through, and through, just being, with a capital G, whiz. Enjoy the joy of being, the inherent freedom of being, the joy of natural meditation, Dzogchen meditation, nowness awareness, the authentic Buddha within. Remember to remember what you're doing while you're doing it. That's the essence of our mindfulness. Remember, just being, just sitting, just breathing, just being present and aware. That's enough and more than enough. If and when the mind wanders, gently tug on the leash of your mindfulness and come back to what you're doing. Just awareful, mindful rather than mindlessly stumbling, sleepwalking through life. For mindfulness and kindfulness, the two wings of the Bodhisattva. Om Mani Padme Hum. 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 Mani Padme Hum. Om 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 Mani Padme Hum. May all beings be happy, content, fulfilled, and at ease. Om Mani Padme Hum. 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 May all beings be healed and whole again. Om Mani Padme Hum. 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 May all be free from harm, danger, and fear. Om Mani Padme Hum. 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 May there be an end to war, aggression, greed, and violence. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Oh, mommy, pray me home, home, home. Homage to the innate great connection. May you realize it and be benefited by it. And may we all together fulfill the promise of this glorious spiritual journey all the way home. Homage to the Buddha in your seat. Don't overlook them. How sweet it is. I happen to mention the Vajrayana practice of Thaknang, pure perception, sacred outlook in the beginning, seeing the light, seeing the Buddha in everyone and everything, hearing all sounds as music, recognizing all forms and appearances as divine, or as it says in Tibetan, as like deities, and so on. All thoughts like mere bubbles, like poems, like haiku, nothing to resist or get rid of, nothing to chase after. I heard a good story somewhat illustrating this, I thought, recently. A mother was telling her little girl twins who were about 7 or 8, here's some clothes from your sister. She hardly wore them. Look how good they are. And the girl was saying, oh, let me try them on. Oh, let me try them on. Oh, we'll try them on together. Look at this. And the mother said, don't let anyone tell you they're just hand-me-downs. Don't mind. And one of the girls said, oh, no, we love our sister. We love her style. We want to be like her, dress like her and her friends. And Mom said, good. And the other girl did even better. She said, not that we would judge. She said, it's so not good of her, our sister, to give us her clothes. Now she has to go shopping again. So who knows what comes first, the chicken or the egg, the in-breath or the out-breath, the liking or the disliking, past or future, and so on. Oh, it's so good of her, but now she has to go shopping again. Of course, not knowing that that's like one of the greatest pleasures of that people like that of that age. Anyway, that's pure perception, seeing the 3/4 of the glass that's full rather than the half that's empty, as I always compute it. But not being Pollyanna or just glad-handing everything. It makes me a little nervous when I hear people say, oh my God, can you believe what's going on out there? The wars and the politics and this corruption and this hypocrisy and the law and this and that. Oh, maybe if it gets even worse, then it'll have to get better. I hate thinking that. How about a little course correction? Let's try to turn it around, or just leap into the next dimension, a third or a fourth way. Anyway, pure perception is a great practice. We can apply it in our meditation seat or prayers or thought experiments or aspirations. And also when we get off the seat, when we go out, when we meet the pets, the kids, the mate, the neighbors, the squirrels, the dogs, the birds, recognizing all sounds is like music, as John Cage used to say, famous for his great piano piece, 4 minutes and 36 seconds, which was total silence, that he performed in Carnegie Hall and blew everybody's mind in the 1950s with his Zen. See everyone as deities, as angels, as gods and goddesses, as God's children, as bodhisattvas, as at least doing their best according to their own lights. Maybe not doing it the way you would do it or even what you think is the best, but you have to give them that slack, I think. Everyone's just doing their best, pursuing the same thing by different means, with different words and ideas. So it's a great way to practice, not just trying to concentrate or meditate or stop thinking or get calm and clear, forget about everything, go on vacation from your problems for a half hour, an hour, which just wait for you when you come back, unless you break through and gain some more insight or self-knowledge or liberate some of those hang-ups and sticking points. But actually cultivate in daily life that kind of sacramental vision or sacred outlook, pure perception. Seeing the loviness even in what you don't like. Love is so much bigger than like and dislike. So last time I didn't leave a lot of room for questions, and we had a bunch. So any questions, please?
Lama, there is a question here for you today.
Thank you.
If everything is created by the mind and its essence is right in front of us, why is it so hard to see? And the second question is, how do you get the clarity of mind?
I got a lot of interference and lost a few words. I heard most of that. 2 questions, a little complicated. So I'm going to ask you to say it again, at least one at a time. How about that?
If everything is created by the mind and its essence is right in front of us, why is it so hard to see?
Is everything created by the mind? According to this way of thinking or Buddha's outlook, now I'm not talking about mind only or in the mind or creator. The second part of that first question, why is it so difficult to see, is generally thought that it's because our vision is obscured. Like the wind, schmutz on the wind field, schmutz and kaka in Tibetan. Like dirt and grime and squashed bugs and droplets, and dust or whatever. The windshield of our eyes, the windshield of our mind. Thus, the first step on Buddha's Eightfold Noble Path is what? It's a supreme view, right? View, not views and opinions, but seeing clearly, seeing things as they are. So, to the extent that we don't, then we can't see what you call right in front of us, but you can't see or hear or sense or think clearly. There's interference. Like if you have jaundice, you see things yellow even when they're not. If you have rosy-colored glasses, you see things rosy even if they're not. Maybe you want to see things rosy, that's fine, but don't forget, when they give you the colorblind test for your driver's license or pilot's license, if you say it's rosy when it's white, you're going to fail because you're not seeing it clearly. You forgot to factor in your own bias. So a few thoughts there about that first question that had 2 parts. And then the second question, what was it, Menla? What is it, please?
How do you get that clarity of mind?
There's different thoughts, practices, views on that. Like my first meditation teacher, Goenkaji, who sort of source of the mindfulness movement in the West, who taught Vipassana, Insight, and Metta mindfulness retreats starting in around 1969, and all the mindfulness teachers in the West mostly stem from that. before Thich Nhat Hanh, let me add. He always used to say it's like washing a white cloth. He lived in India. White clothes, white cloth, and dirt and grime. You wash it until it's white again. It's a white cloth. It's just dirty. So you keep practicing purification. That's how. What is purification? So there's physical cleaning, that's kind of purification. The Hindus often bathe every morning in the Ganges. They call that purification. Let's not go into the nature of that water. Goenka would say, and then there's more like mental purification, by awareness, sweeping the body-mind continuum with constant mindfulness and vigilance, and thinning the veil that obscures the clear vision. So that's a purification. Call it mental if you must, but that's a more inner, spiritual purification. And there's probably other kinds. Anyway, there's rebalancing the scales, purification, expiating our unwholesome negative deeds. Let's say sins, as they call it in Western religions. We don't call that in Buddhism. Expiating your sins, your unwholesome negative deeds by balancing it with positive deeds, reconditioning the bad conditioning with bad habits. So, you have better habits. That's a purification way. So there's a lot of different ways. In the Vajrayana, we say if you chant Vajrasattva's purification mantra and you apply the four powers of flushing and purifying and regretting and vowing to not to do again, that's four. The four powers, not just chanting the mantra like a parrot. If you do it with the four powers, then you're purifying whatever it was. It doesn't stay forever. Everything's impermanent. You don't go to hell because of it. You're reconditioning and deconditioning. So that's a way of purifying in the Vajrayana, Tantrayana, which is a whole other kind of, worldview. And then in Dzogchen, which you might say is like a higher or more refined or, deeper or holistic purification, just resting as is, purifies the habits of overdoing and detaches cause and effect. Billiard balls hitting each other and body English and spin, cause and effect. For every action, there's a reaction. Even modern science discovered that principle. So it detaches that because there's no two, there's no cause and effect. There's no before and after, there's just the now. There's just bead, moment like beads. There's no string of your own narrative or clinging and fixations, holding it together, turning it into a rosary. Or like arguing, that's not a rosary, that's a mala. Oh, very good. Good argument. Same thing, different name. Or it's a noose. But without the string, where's the noose that could hang you? It's just moment, bead, bead, bead. So our own narrative, or even you could call it memory, strings together our self, our identity, our story, who we think we are. When we just in the moment, that purifies that. There's no karma in Dzogchen, they say. I know it's a Buddhist teaching, but in Dzogchen there's no karma because there's no other. It takes two to tangle, like hooks and rings of Velcro. Just one, I was going to say white ball, but maybe white is not right these days. One cue ball that you hit, if there's no other balls, there's no bouncing around on the billiard tables or bumper cars. If there's only one car on the bumper car, whatever electric track, even though you can't steer it, you don't really have bumper cars because there's nothing to bump into. It purifies duality. You see how that's a deeper level of purification. There's just the oneness. Anyway, that's a few thoughts and a few levels of purification. And of course, you could do about fasting and other things.
Thank you.
Any more questions, Menla?
Yep, there's another one.
Good.
These, I think, are relating back to the death and dying pop-up you did, but how does the Pure Land relate to the Bardos?
That's a good question. In fact, I had lunch with Joseph Goldstein the other day, and we were talking about that. And he was asking me if the Pure Land, being reborn in the Pure Land, was like rebirth on the wheel of samsara, or if it was off samsara, or what. So of course he's not a Vajrayanist. He's a Dzogchen, but he founded, heads the Theravada and Mahayana Center, let's say. He says his major is Vipassana, but his minor is Dzogchen. Anyway, this is an esoteric subject. I'm looking around. I doubt there's anybody here that has ever heard this, so I'm just going to pop it out. But, I heard this or asked teachers over 40 years about these things because I didn't have anything better to do. And the Tibetan Buddhist Vajrayana teaching, this is not necessarily taught in Burma and Thailand and Sri Lanka, in Southern Buddhism, in Zen Buddhism. The teaching about the Pure Lands, the Buddha fields, whatever they're called, Shinkan, the Buddha fields, like the Western Pure Land of Buddha Amitabha that the Pure Land School prays to be reborn into, or of Avalokiteshvara, the Lord of Compassion, that the Dalai Lama comes from or something, it emanates from. The Pure Lands are said to be half on and half off the wheel of samsara. So they're places where progress can be made much quicker because you're not burdened by being stuck in one of the 6 realms or one of the 6 mindsets like hatred or greed, of the ordinary Kalesha is represented by the 6 realms of being on the wheel of life. So you asked, so now I'm telling you cosmological. You asked cosmological. So the Pure Lands are half on and half off the wheel of samsara, which is not something you find in the basic, original teachings of Buddha particularly. In case you're wondering why, we even talk about those things, the most popular form of Buddhism in Japan, no, it's not Zen, it's Pure Land Buddhism, where they chant the name of Amitabha Buddha, the Lord of the Western Pure Land, the Lord of the Lotus family, and pray to be reborn in that Pure Land. So it's a very major sect or lineage or school of Buddhism in the world. If you see these white peace pagodas that have sprung up around North America, and the Japanese monks or Western monks and nuns going around banging on like a hand drum or a big badminton drum, like badminton racket kind of drum, and chanting Namu Myoho Renge Kyo, and building these peace pagodas, these white stupas, these little peace parks. That's Pure Land sect. The Lotus Sutra, Pure Land sect, Nichiren Shoshu. So the Pure Lands is a great and interesting subject. And there's different levels of Pure Lands. And you can read about these things a little if you goggle it. If you goggle Pure Land, you'll be surprised at how much you'll find there of Buddhist stuff that we might not have heard about at our mindfulness course or, our Zen center. Now, I'm not saying it's absolutely true, but cosmologically or metaphorically useful. So there's Nirmanakaya Pure Lands like on this earth, and Sambhogakaya ones that are more visionary, and Dharmakaya ones like Kuntazampo's Pure Land of the Here Now, which has no direction and no images and no inhabitants. It's all Kuntazampo or all Rigpa. So time's running out, and I just shot that out fast. But for those who have ears to see, you know what I was talking about, and you can follow it up.
Well, thank you, Lama, for that. And thank you for today. Thank you all for joining us. We're going to end the session here and invite you to come back again next week. Those of you who didn't get your questions answered, write them down, bring them back. We have another session next week. 2 weeks from now is our next summer pop-up on karma. So please join us for that. And we operate on donations. Any amount is helpful, so please consider donating and becoming a member to get exclusive benefits. So with that, we will end for today. Thank you all for being here, and see you again soon. Thank you, Lama.
Thank you, Admiral, and all of you Pure Land inhabitants. Thank you. Love to one and all.